1863 marked the turning point in the war between the North and the South. Union armies swarmed into Confederate territory, sweeping aside resistance by sheer force of men and arms. On a morning in that year, a small detachment of Confederates prepared to fight a delaying action to cover the retreat of its main force. The detachment was in charge of Major Jennings.
Major Jennings.
What is it, Copper?
Enemy's broken through about 10 miles south. They've already crossed the river. Your home's directly in the pass, sir. With your permission, I'd like to warn your family and get them out.
Permission granted.
After a valiant but hopeless stand, Major Jennings' little force was defeated. With the survivors in disorderly retreat, the Major attempted to rejoin the main body of the Confederate Army.
Corporal! Did you get there in time?
Yes, Major. They all got away just before the house was destroyed. Miss Jennings says she'll wait for you in the old cabin at Big Rock.
Is everybody all right?
Yes, sir. The children are all fine.
What about Mrs. Jennings?
She's doing as well as could be expected, sir. Martha's taking good care of her.
You's hurting bad, ain't you, Miss Jennings?
Yes, Martha, I am.
Think you can hold on until we get to the cabin?
I think so.
Why is Martha making us stay out here? 'Cause Mommy's sick. I don't think so. She acted just like she did the day she found you, when you were a little baby. Where'd she find me? Out in the woods, in a hollow log, she said. Gee, I bet I was scared. It's Father!
Hello, John.
Hello,
Ed.
Father.
Hello, Frank.
Hello, Father.
Where's Mother?
She's in there. Martha told us to stay out. Mommy's sick. I guess Father wants us to stay out, too. Didn't I tell you? A baby! He sure sounds mad about something.
Just listen to that rebel yell. He's gonna have a powerful temper when he grows up.
In this abandoned cabin, and against a background of war, Al Jennings was born. The setting was a prophetic one, for Al's life was to be one of strife and violence. Years later, in the frontier town of Coldwater, Kansas, Al Jennings engaged in the practice of law in partnership with his brother Frank. Their father was now a county judge, admired and respected by the residents of the community. The judge was a stern man, but a just one. Since the death of his wife, when Al was 11, he had done a good job of raising his boys. There were times, however, when Al provoked Judge Jennings mightily.
9 o'clock. Evidently, your brother is afraid to face me.
Father, when you're mad at Al, he's always my brother, not your son. And he's never been afraid of anything.
There's a great difference between being afraid and showing a proper respect for the law. Al must learn that a courtroom, and particularly my court, is a place of justice.
He's always had a hot temper.
That doesn't excuse him. A show of temper in a lawyer is a sign of weakness.
I suppose I should have sat still while that jackleg shyster from Kansas City called me a liar in front of a courtroom full of people. Is that your idea?
It is my idea that you cannot take exception to personalities in a courtroom. As for physical violence, your action in striking the opposing counsel was inexcusable.
I was just trying to explain.
Don't bother, Frank. I'll do the explaining. I'll hit any man who calls me a liar, in a courtroom or any place else.
I should have held you in contempt and let you cool off in jail for a day or two.
Why didn't you?
It isn't too late yet. I want you to appear in court at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Oh, you won't do that to Al.
You're right, he won't.
And why not?
Because I'm pulling up stakes tonight.
What about our law practice?
You can come along if you want to. We're working under a handicap here with Father on the bench. Clients come to us only because they think we have a pull with the judge. It's time we got out.
Well?
It worked out just as I thought it would.
You mean you want him to leave?
No, but maybe it will be all for the best. He may have a hot temper, but he has a logical mind. He was right about working under a handicap here. Maybe among strangers, he may learn to control his emotions. Go with him, Frank, and look after him.
I'll do my best.
Your brothers are doing very nicely in their practice in Woodward. There might be an opportunity there for you boys.
Thanks. We'll give it a try.
Let go now.
Oh, I didn't realize. I had my eyes shut waiting for the worst.
Well, that was pretty silly of you. Why didn't you grab the lines?
For your information, I don't know anything about horses.
You better learn something about them if you're going to live out here.
I'm not going to live out here. And I don't like being called silly.
It's silly to drive without lines, lady.
I wasn't driving. Jeff was.
Jeff? Who and where is Jeff?
He works for my uncle. We stopped back there when some stuff fell off. He got out to pick it up and the horses ran away. But I don't know why I'm telling you all this.
Maybe it's because you feel grateful. You ought to. Shouldn't she, Frank?
Well, yes. Every book that I read, the heroine always kissed the hero when he stopped to run away.
Why, sure. You want to kiss me now or later?
I certainly do not.
Oh, not now? All right. I'll wait till later.
Look, Mr. Whoever you are.
Oh, that's not the name. It's Jennings, Al Jennings. And this is my brother Frank, Miss Spitfire. That is your name, isn't it?
I suppose I should be grateful at that, Mr. Jennings, to both of you. My name is Margot Sinclair.
Well, welcome to Oklahoma territory, even though you're not going to stay. Where do you live?
New Orleans. I'm visiting my uncle here, Robert Kyle. He owns the Square K Ranch. You probably know him.
Well, not yet. We're strangers here, too. But we plan to get to know everybody real well.
I'm coming, Miss Margot. Don't go away. I'm glad you're all right, miss. Doggone team's always running away. Thanks, gents, for stopping them.
Goodbye, Mr. Jennings. Perhaps we'll meet again.
We will.
You seem very positive about that.
Well, I'm a very positive fellow.
You wall-eyed varmints, get out of here. Get!
Hey, she's a pretty girl. Too bad she's not going to be around here.
morning, strangers.
Good morning.
You fellas bound for Woodward?
Yes, we thought maybe you could tell us something about the town.
You sure stopped the right party, son. I know all about Woodward. It's a rip-roaring town if there ever was one. Growing like a weed and wide open. Oh, but the price is there. Costs you a fortune for anything you buy. So, I hope you boys brought plenty of money along with you.
Oh, we brought enough.
Well, in that case, just step right down off of them horses and hit the ground with your hands in the air.
This is something new, using a horse and buggy for a holdup.
I just figured it out myself. Thought it might surprise somebody. Turn around.
Kind of slow for a getaway, though.
You're right. But I aim to take your horses along, too. Right nice-looking animals they are.
Don't try to pick it up. I don't want to have to kill you.
That's right nice of you, son. You're pretty handy with that little toy. Aiming to take me in?
No, we're in a hurry, and we probably wouldn't get $2 if we took your ears to the county clerk. I hope you don't mind if I keep this for a souvenir.
Not at all, sir, not at all. Somebody always has to lose something in a hold-up.
In that case, I'll take this back.
Well, reckon I'll be going along now. That is, if it's all right with you.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
Yeah. You think you're right letting him go?
Why not? I made a profit on the transaction. Nice girl. Might come in handy sometime.
You were spreading your wings real wide, Al, taking an outlaw's gun away from him.
He wasn't much of an outlaw.
This look familiar to you, Ed?
Was he a big, round-faced, innocent-looking citizen?
With an easy-going drawl.
Why, you know him, Ed?
Sure, his name's Lon Tuttle. Got him acquitted on petty larceny last fall. Had to take our fee in cordwood.
Say, Al, do you notice the trigger's been filed off?
Well, that's so he can fan it with his thumb. I first learned to shoot with a filed-off .44.
Well, knowing how to shoot in this town won't hurt you one bit. That is, of course, if you plan to stay.
Well, we wanted to talk to you and John about that. We figured we might open a law office, too, if it wouldn't be stepping on your toes.
You won't be stepping on our toes, Ed?
No, certainly not. There's plenty of law business to go around in this town. I'd like to take you to court with me tomorrow and introduce you. I'm defending Bob Kyle of the Square K in a water rights case.
Kyle? Would he have a niece named Margot St. Clair?
Mm-hmm. Very pretty girl.
Yeah, I know. We met her on the way into town.
You're not worried, are you?
Have we got a chance?
We have a very fine chance.
I'll never forget her. Prettiest girl I ever saw. But an ingrate. Wouldn't even give me a kiss for stopping a runaway team.
Mighty stingy, I'd say.
Why, Mr. Jennings. In fact, both Mr. Jennings.
Good morning, Miss St. Clair. This is a surprise.
Somehow I doubt that.
You're right. I knew I'd find you here.
How?
Oh, your uncle's lawyer is our brother Ed.
Is that so?
Yes, and I just had a great idea. Because my brother is your uncle's lawyer, I can get myself properly introduced and we can see a lot of each other.
Well, Mr. Jennings, I'm surprised that you want to see a lot of someone you think is silly.
All right. I take it back. You weren't silly. You were just foolish. But I am going to see a lot of you.
I'm afraid you can't. I'm leaving for New Orleans tomorrow.
Oh. That's too bad.
Honor the court, everybody stand. This district court is now in session. Sit down, everybody.
When we adjourned, Mr. Jennings, you were summing up for the defense. You may resume now.
Your Honor, competent witnesses, including 3 government employees, have testified that the plaintiff in this case leased to my client, Mr. Kyle, water rights of land he did not own. Now, he's trying to collect from Mr. Kyle for something which he had no right to lease. It's a good trick if you can get away with it. Fencing Indian land and leasing the water rights to it.
I object to the remarks of counsel, Your Honor. The action of the defendant in refusing to pay his debts a barefaced fraud, bordering on thievery. Of course, I'm not surprised to find Ed Jennings appearing for the defense. In the past, he's been counsel for a select list of bandits, outlaws, thieves. In fact, he seems to be completely at home in their company.
Are you calling him a thief?
Well, if the shoe fits, let him put it on.
The shoe pinches, mister.
What's going on?
I've never seen such a disgraceful exhibition before a bar of justice in my life. Who are these ruffians?
Well, they're not ruffians, Your Honor. They're my brothers, Hal and Frank.
Hal and Frank Jennings, I fine you each $50 for disturbing the peace.
Sorry, Your Honor, but I'll have to challenge you on that. We haven't been placed in custody. No charge has been lodged against us. I submit that the court has no authority to fine us.
Oh. You talk like a lawyer.
I am. So is he.
Is that so? And you're challenging this court on a technicality? Well, young man, technicalities can be cured. Marshal, place these two men under arrest for disturbing the peace.
I believe you'll find, Your Honor, that a minor charge of disturbing the peace does not come within the jurisdiction of a United States Marshal.
How about that, Ken?
He's right, Your Honor.
In that case, the court withdraws the charge of disturbing the peace. Instead, I fine you each $50 for contempt of court. Does the brilliant young barrister care to challenge my jurisdiction?
No, Your Honor. We'll pay.
That's better. Step aside.
Your Honor, I wish to apologize to the court for the hasty action of my brothers, but only to the court.
I can understand that. Does the counsel for the plaintiff care to apologize for his broad insinuation that Mr. Jennings is a thief?
I do not, Your Honor.
Well, that's something to be settled between yourselves, but not in this courtroom. I don't need to listen to further argument in this case. I find in favor of the defendant, Robert Kyle, represented by Mr. Jennings. Court's adjourned.
If you're not going to be too busy packing this evening, I'd like to ride out and see you.
My packing's all done, Mr. Jennings.
Things seem to happen fast out here. Yesterday, I stop a runaway and meet you, and then I get held up by an outlaw. Today, I meet you again in court and get in a fight. Tonight, I have to say goodbye to you.
New Orleans doesn't have a wall around it, and it's famous for its hospitality.
Sure, but there's nothing down there for a young fellow trying to get a start.
What do you expect to find here that you couldn't find there?
The territory's big. It's booming. There's excitement, opportunity. It's got everything. Everything except you.
You might find New Orleans exciting, too. Thanks for stopping the runaway. Goodbye, Al.
Goodbye, Margot.
Full house, queens and eights.
4 6s.
Before you stack those chips, get up on your feet. Apologize for what happened this afternoon. Make it nice and loud so everybody can hear.
Hold it right there.
That you, Marshal?
Yeah.
Here's my gun. I'll go along with you.
Me too.
Come on.
Just a minute, Marshal.
Put that gun away, Jennings. These men are under arrest and unarmed.
They shot Ed. Give them back their guns and step aside.
No, it's not going to be handled that way. I'm taking them to jail. You'll have your day in court. Put your gun away.
All right, Marshal. I'll wait for my day in court. But if there's a slip-up, there'll be another day. He didn't have a chance. It was cold-blooded murder. Marsden's gonna pay for it.
The law will see that he does.
I doubt it. They tell me he's quite a political figure around here. Is that right, John?
There's no doubt he carries some weight.
He'll be carrying a lot more weight if they turn him loose.
Taking the law into your own hands won't help, Al.
But, Father, don't you...
Good morning, John.
Hello, Marshal.
I heard your father came for the funeral. Thought I'd pay my respects.
Come in.
Morning, Judge. Hello, boys.
Hello, Marshal. Hello, Marshal. I haven't seen you since you served in Kansas.
Yes, it's been a long time. Sorry something like this had to bring you back to Woodward. I have some news for you that I don't think you like. Tom Marsden's out on $500 bail.
Out on bail for murder?
Let's face it, Al. Marsden actually runs this town.
Does he make the laws, too?
That's not my business. My job is to enforce the law. And my advice to you is not to lose your head. I'm sure your father will tell you the same thing.
Undoubtedly. Father's a judge. But if Marsden makes the law around here, I don't want to practice it.
Al, I want you to listen to me. You've got to be reasonable.
Reasonable? That's your son in that coffin.
Al, I'm warning you. Keep away from Marsden.
So you've warned me. That means you've done your duty. Let's leave it at that.
Maybe you'll listen to me.
Al! Wait!
Jennings just rode in.
Get out of sight, quick. If he's looking for trouble, I'll be ready for him. I hope you didn't come here looking for trouble, Jennings.
That depends on you, Marsden.
What do you want?
Your written confession that you murdered my brother?
You're quite a joker, aren't you? Stay where you are if you don't want what your brother got.
That won't happen while I have my eyes on you.
Get out. You're trespassing on my property. You know the law.
I know enough law to know that murder isn't a bailable offense.
Well, I'm out.
But you're going back in.
Oh, on what grounds?
On your confession. Start writing. You'll do better with your right hand. Don't make any foolish moves, Mertz. I know you're there.
Al, what happened?
We're all square with Marsden.
Bill Mertz just took out of here as though the devil was after him. We better get into town and tell the marshal your story before he gets there with his.
Well, Frank, I'll let you know where I am.
No, I'm going with you.
Why? You didn't do anything.
I know, but he saw me too. He'll include me in his story. Come on, let's make tracks.
I still can't believe that Jennings would shoot a man down in cold blood.
I'm telling you, I saw it. He didn't even give Marsden a chance to draw.
All right, Mertz. We'll pick him up and hear what he has to say. Pete, Tom, Hank, cover the hills in the back country. The rest of you boys come with me.
Look. Looks like we got ourselves in a pocket.
Maybe not. It'll be dark pretty soon.
We've got him in a trap. The only way out is through this pass. Pete, Tom, round up the rest of the boys.
see anything out?
Well, they're sitting it out down there waiting for us to make a break, and we're not going to disappoint them.
Well, we're not going to try to shoot our way out.
Well, we wouldn't stand a chance. I got a better idea. Hold us, Frank. Horse and wait here.
Right.
Come on, let's get out of here.
Mount up and after him.
Well, what do you think?
Let's take a chance. I want some breakfast. Good morning.
Morning. You want something?
We've been riding all night and could use some breakfast. Maybe a job if the working conditions are right.
Where'd you come from?
Kansas.
You ride all the way from Kansas on one horse?
That's a long story. Saw much better over a cup of coffee and some grub. What do you say, do we eat?
You'll have to ask the boss about that.
Where do we find him?
The house is straight ahead. You first.
Hey, tie him over there. The boss don't like horses in the house.
What's up?
These fellas just rode in.
On one horse?
Yes. Think they want breakfast and work.
Not so fast about the work, my friend. If you recall, I qualified that part of it. We're only interested in employment if the conditions are right.
Oh, choosy, eh? That'll be all, boys. I'll talk to him. I didn't get your name.
We didn't give him.
Well, that's your business. But it's pretty hard to put a man on the payroll if you don't know what his name is.
Does a fella have to have a name to get some breakfast? We're willing to pay for it if that's what's worrying you.
Hold it, Fred. Before you feed him, let me get my gun back from this fella.
Where'd you meet these dudes?
On the road. You see, it was like this. They was gonna take my rig away from him, and when I tried to stop him, he shot my gun out of my hand. Glad to get it back. It's my favorite.
You being here explains something that's been bothering me.
Meaning what?
This brand over your door. It says this is the Diamond B. But the brand on the steers your boys just brought in reads Diamond L.
Did you ever hear of a fella buying steers?
Yeah, didn't you? The L changes to a B right nice. All you have to do is burn it over and the beef is yours. Might be pleasant working here for a while,
Yeah. We could always leave if we didn't like it.
You'll leave when I tell you to.
Now do we get some breakfast?
Give him some grub, Lon. But tell the boys not to let him out of sight. I'm going to do some checking.
Those men look bad to me.
Well, they ought to feel at home around here.
Card.
Give me one.
Take two.
One.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Look at her. Ain't she a lollapalooza?
Put a bell and whistle on that caboose and it'll take you straight to Kansas City.
That's some harness she's wearing. But how can she gallop in that thing?
Now that you've got her cut out, what are you going to do with her?
I'm gonna pin her up over my bunk. She'll be the first thing I see in the morning and the last thing I look at before I start dreaming.
Woman crazy.
5 blues.
Well,
Raise your 3.
Up 3.
Enjoying yourself, boys?
Yeah, the grub's not bad. Your help knows very little about poker.
Glad you like it here. Looks like you boys are going to be with us for quite a spell.
What makes you think so?
This?
What are you gonna do about it?
That depends. You boys are worth 1,000 to me as it now stands. But you just might be worth a lot more if you care to join on.
Looks like you got yourself a couple of hands, Mr. Salter.
In that case, you'll do some riding tonight.
Tonight?
Yeah. My boys are long riders. They cover a lot of territory after dark.
What do you do for fresh horses?
Oh, we got friends. But don't forget this. Lon gives the orders.
I take it you don't ride with a bunch.
Well, naturally not. I'm supposed to be a legitimate rancher. Time you're getting started.
All right. Count your chips and I'll cash you in. What do you got, Sammy?
14.
Well, looks like cattle rustling's just a sideline with the old man, huh?
Well, I'm sure of it, but what are we going to do about it? You don't think you'd let us get away from here without collecting that reward, do you?
No, I don't. Think we ought to join them?
Mm-hmm. We'll have to for a while. I don't think we have any choice.
When the long riders set out from the Diamond B Ranch that night, Al Jennings launched a career that was to become legend in Oklahoma territory. The hard-riding bandits ranged far into the backcountry, always striking with dramatic suddenness. Stagecoach lines connecting the more remote communities with the railroads were easy prey. From the very beginning, Al Jennings won the respect of the gang with his fearlessness and daring. Soon he became their real leader. With each new exploit, the price on the heads of the Jennings brothers mounted. Express companies in mushrooming small towns far from the main centers of population were the victims of this gang, led by Al Jennings, who abandoned the practice of law to break the law. Harassed authorities, recognizing Al's leadership, increased the reward for his capture alone, dead or alive. No bank in Oklahoma territory was safe when Al Jennings and his long riders were on the prowl, and huge losses were suffered from their daring raids.
It'll be easy. The minute they stop by the water tower, Slim and Doc cover the engineer and fireman. Buck, Page, and Pete ride herd on the passengers while Frank and Lon work with me on the express car.
I don't like it. Robbing trains is out of our line.
Oh, we gotta try something new. Every bank and express office in the territory is full of armed guards, just waiting for us to show up.
Lay low for a while till things cool off.
Laying low won't get us anything. You can stay here and play it safe like you always have.
That bag looks fat.
It should, with 11,000 in it.
Ought to add up to a pretty good day's work if the passengers are holding anything.
This gent's as fat as a goose.
Are you going to stand here doing nothing and let these bandits take everything we've got?
Should he be doing something?
He certainly should. He's a railroad detective.
Why didn't you use it?
I'm a special agent, not a special fool. I thought so. Al Jennings.
Why, you...
Hold it, Pete.
All right, get back in the car. Come on, hurry up.
I just picked up the latest quotation on our necks.
Well, that makes us a pretty valuable pair of citizens.
Too valuable.
Got something on your mind?
Uh-huh. When the reward money gets that big, you can't even trust your best friend.
Thinking about any particular person?
Oh, Sawler was going to sell us out for $1,000 at one time. I'm just wondering what he might do for $25,000.
Maybe we better go straighten him out before he gets any ideas.
No, that's no good. I'd only give him an idea. We got a nice stake now. Why don't we go away for a while? Louisiana, maybe.
Louisiana?
Yeah, they got no extradition law. We'd be safe there. We might even open a law office. They tell me New Orleans is quite a place.
Yeah, they tell me Miss St. Clair is quite a girl.
Oh, what's wrong with that combination?
Oh, nothing. Might be fun. Not being hunted, maybe even make an honest dollar.
Yeah, to say nothing of riding on a train instead of holding one up. We'll be on our way tonight.
Monsieur, you will find a room very comfortable and always as clean as it is now. And the food, well, I am a very modest woman, but the food is magnificent.
I'm sure it is. What are your rates?
Well, for each, with the meals, will be $3 a week.
Let's take it.
Well, here's 2 weeks in advance.
Oh, merci beaucoup, monsieur. Oh, by the way, in case anyone should inquire, what is the name?
Well, I don't think anyone will be calling, but the name is Thompson. I'm Alfred, and he's Frank.
Oh, you are brothers, no?
Yes.
Well, I, Madame le Clerc, am at your service.
Good. How about a pitcher of water so we can wash up?
Oh, mais certainement, Monsieur de Meach will be up tout de suite.
Fine. I wish I knew what I was going to tell her.
Tell who about what?
Margot. She's bound to have read about us in the papers. She'll probably slam the door in my face.
Why don't you forget about it?
I've tried that for a long time, and it won't work.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Is Miss St. Clair at home?
Yes, she's in the garden. Who shall I say is calling?
An old friend from Woodward, Oklahoma, Al Thompson. If she doesn't remember the name, tell her we met when her team ran away.
Well, won't you come in? I'll tell her.
Are you sure he said his name is Thompson?
Yes, sir. He says he met you when your horses ran away.
My horses? Why, it must be...
It is, Margot. I, just got here today and thought I'd sort of, look you up.
That will be all, Therese. I suppose I should be flattered, Mr. Thompson.
Maybe you should be at that. You're the only woman I ever remembered more than a day or two.
I've heard you've kept on the move most of the time. What brings you here?
You said once that New Orleans didn't have a wall around it. Have you forgotten?
I recall saying that a long time ago to a young man who was full of enthusiasm over Oklahoma territory. He thought it had everything: opportunity, excitement. His name was Al Jennings. Whatever happened to him, Mr. Thompson?
Al Jennings doesn't exist anymore. There's only Mr. Thompson now, Margot. Asking for a chance to be on the level with you.
I'd like to believe that. But what about the law?
They won't be hunting me here. There's no indictment against me in Louisiana.
What do you intend to do?
Something legitimate, whatever it is. Frank's here with me. I wish we could practice law again, but our certificates carry our real names, so that's out. Maybe we'll buy a business of some kind. That is, if we stay.
I hope you do stay, Mr. Thompson.
Good morning, Miss Calhoun. Hello, Margot.
Good morning, Frank.
How are you?
Oh, I do declare, Mr. Thompson, such a lot of figures. Don't figures simply confuse you?
Well, no, not when they're on the right side of the ledger.
Well, figures simply scare poor little old me to death.
Well, they don't scare poor little old me, especially in dresses like you're wearing today.
Oh, you're a very bold man with your eyes, Mr. Thompson.
Now, you sure it's all right for me to mail this to Father? It has our wedding invitation.
Why do you ask?
I'm just giving you a chance to back out of a bad bargain before it's too late.
I made the bargain, didn't I? Now, will you take me to lunch? We've got a lot of plans to talk over.
Let's take the best man and Miss Calhoun, shall we?
We have set June 15th as the date, and it is our earnest hope that you will be able to be present. Frank joins me in sending assurances of our filial devotion. Affectionately yours, Al.
You're going to the wedding?
Yes, I'll be there. You don't approve, do you, Ken?
Since you asked me, I don't. You were elected county judge in spite of Al's record and Frank's. The people out here in the territory trust you and like you. But if they find out that you've been covering up the whereabouts of a couple of outlaws, things might be different.
But I'm not covering up their whereabouts. If I were, I wouldn't have read your Al's letter.
They're going straight in Louisiana. They're not outlaws there. Your jurisdiction is limited to Oklahoma territory.
I know, but there's still a reward for them here. Remind them of that when you see them, will you, Judge?
Yes, Ken. I'll remind them.
And you might also say that I wish them luck, as long as they stay out of my front yard.
Morning. Morning. What can I do for you? I'm Haynes, special agent for the Delta and Northern Line. Understand you have a claim against us. That's right. $600 for cotton missing in transit. Yeah, that's right. I have the papers right here. You authorized to sign for them? Yes, I'm Frank Thompson, treasurer of the company. Fine. Now, if you'll just sign here and here, I'll approve the claim for collection. Here you are. When can we expect to get our money from the railroad? Well, it'll take a little time. Have to pass through several departments. I'm sure you'll get paid. Good day, Mr. Thompson. Good day, Mr. Haynes. You know who that was?
Yeah. He's the detective I slapped around on that last train holdup, and I'm sure he recognized me, even though he tried to cover up.
I don't know why you're hesitating. This job isn't going to be any tougher than that little matter we handled in Memphis.
This is a different kind of a clam bake, and I'm thinking it's not for me.
Well, why not? All I'm asking is a little help in getting these two fellas across the state line. This cotton brokerage business of theirs is just a blind. They'd be robbing trains down here if I let them stay. I'm just working for the company.
Sure you are, and the $25,000 reward money has nothing to do with it.
All right, so I am after the reward money. But after all, I'll be taking most of the chances hauling them clear back to Oklahoma. Getting them out of Louisiana is just the first step. I'll be willing to pay well for your help.
How well?
Oh, say $2,000. That'll be $500 apiece for each of you boys.
Let's say $5,000 for me, and I'll make my own deal with the boys.
You're a hard customer.
The Jennings boys ain't exactly soft. When do we go to work?
Tonight. Meet me in Harper and Royal at 8.
We'll be there. Oh, and another thing. The reward's offered for them, dead or alive. We're doing no killing.
Well, of course not. I haven't even mentioned the subject.
I know that. That's why I thought I'd better mention it.
You've been awfully quiet this evening. Is there anything wrong?
I was just thinking. Only one more week of freedom left, and then life imprisonment with a lovely jailer.
You're right about the life imprisonment, Jennings. It's exactly what you're going to get. Oh, I never heard of a lovely jailer in a federal prison.
Who are these gentlemen, Therese?
They ain't gentlemen, Miss Margot. When I told them you wasn't receiving callers, they grabbed me and brought me right along.
Do you mind telling me why you call Mr. Thompson Jennings?
Because that's his name, Al Jennings. That's his brother, Frank.
Train robbers.
That's right, miss.
Oh, my goodness gracious. I simply don't know whether to be chilled or thrilled.
You're going out of this state tonight with me. Both of you. We don't travel with railroad dicks.
And get this straight. We haven't broken any laws in Louisiana, and we don't intend to. There's no legal way you can take us back to Oklahoma.
I'm not going to let you stay here if I have to organize vigilantes to run you out.
We're not leaving.
Change his mind, boys. All right, tie him up and put him in the wagon.
I'm glad they exposed you before I was foolish enough to marry you. I hope they keep you in prison for the rest of your life.
I don't blame you, miss.
Raise your hands.
Don't try it, Haynes. You haven't got a chance. Just keep your hands up. You two over there.
Should I send the maid for the police?
Not yet. Keep them covered, Frank. I've got to leave New Orleans, Margot.
Leave? After everything we've planned?
Our plans will still work out if you want them to. Somewhere else, maybe. Only it'll take a little longer than I figured. When I have things ready, I'll send for you.
But I thought you said there was no legal way they could take you back to Oklahoma.
No legal way, that's true. But the law doesn't always work for a fellow with a big price on his head. Haynes will never stop trying. He'll hound us, ruin our business, maybe even arrange to have us killed. Because we're worth just as much dead as we are alive. So, we're pulling out right now.
Seems they just won't let a man go straight once he's done wrong. Thing I can't figure out is why you boys come back to Oklahoma.
Purely psychological.
Come again?
It's the last place the law would expect to find us.
You might have something there. Got any plans?
Uh-huh. We lost everything we had in New Orleans. We're gonna pull a big job, bigger than anything we ever did before. It'll be the last one for me.
Any of the old bunch still around?
Not many. Fred Salter's in jail for cattle rustling. Sammy Page and Doc Reitmeyer got themselves hung for horse stealing. Last I heard of Pete Kincaid, he was down in the Indian country for his health. Got a sudden attack of lead poison running away from a posse. That leaves me and Buck and Slim Harris.
Things must be pretty quiet around here.
Yeah. Territory's getting too big for its britches. They say the politicians is figuring on making a state out of it.
What have you and Buck and Slim been doing?
Running the place for old lady Salter. Been doing it on the level, too. Gets mighty tiresome. Hope me and the boys fit in with them plans you got.
You do?
Well, reckon you figure on holding up here a while.
Sure do. Any reason why we can't?
Yes, a very good reason. I don't want you around the place.
What's come over you?
My husband's in jail because of the likes of you. Saddle your horses and get off.
Just a minute, Mrs. Salter. We were always welcomed around here by your husband.
Sure you were. He thought it was smart to shelter outlaws.
He found it pretty profitable, too, didn't he?
Well, naturally he did. And she will, too. We won't impose on your hospitality for long. We're just going to pull one job, the last one, and it'll pay off plenty.
How much?
Who knows? But we'll give you a fair shake. I imagine you can use a little money with your husband away for a time.
Well, now that you put it that way, I guess I can. But mind you, I don't want to get involved in any of your doings. I'm an honest woman.
Sure you are. And we're going to keep you honest.
You sure know how to get around women.
And that's my proposition, Marshal.
You're entitled to the reward money if they're captured, Mrs. Salter. But your husband still has 4 months to serve, and I have no way of setting him free.
You want the Jennings boys, don't you?
Well, that goes without saying.
Then find a way to get Fred out of jail. With that $25,000, I'll take him so far from the territory you'll never even hear of him again.
That would be very agreeable to me. All right, I'll speak to the federal attorney. Now tell me, where are Al and Frank hiding out?
I'll tell you that when you turn Fred loose. But it had better be quick because those boys are planning something big. And in the very near future.
You wouldn't be knowing any of the details, would you?
No. But that has nothing to do with my proposition.
All right, come on.
There it is, neat as a pin. We throw the switch, put the train on the siding, blow up the express safe, and ride off with $200,000.
Mind telling me how you know they're going to be hauling that much stuff?
Well, express messengers like to boast, especially after a few drinks. There's no mistake about it, Lon. The money's being shipped by the government to open one of those new federal land banks. 200,000. A nice round figure for our last haul. You know your spots, boys.
Get out your keys and unlock that switch. The train's gonna stop here. Hurry up! All right, now get back in the shack. Lock them in.
Move.
Wonder why we're being held up.
We generally do it for money. Put up your hands. Get your hands up.
I reckon that's the box with the big money in it. Open it up.
I can't. I don't know the combination. And there isn't any big money in it either.
Don't stall. Ammunition is expensive. Open the safe.
I'm telling you, mister, only station agents have the combination.
I was hoping this was going to be simple, but I guess we'll have to use a little force.
Seems a shame to ruin a brand new safe when there's practically nothing in it.
Shut up. Get out of the car.
Better move back. This liable to be quite a blast. Something wrong here. If you can make $200,000 out of this, you're a magician.
So that's what you were looking for. The land bank shipment. You're a little late. That went through last night on a special train. I kept telling you there was nothing much in the box.
You did. And I'll always remember you as an honest express messenger. Did you do any good with the passengers?
Ah, there was only 8 of them, a cheap bunch. Got 300 and some change. How did you do?
Missed the boat. $900 was all. The big stuff went through last night. All set, cousin. On your way, get moving. We scored a total of $1,200, which makes $200 apiece, including a share from Mrs. Salter.
She ain't gonna be very happy with only $200. I can just hear her lacing into us now.
But she won't be lacing into me. I'm not going back to the ranch. Neither is Frank.
Well, what you aiming to do, Al?
Clear out of the territory, quick. It'll be on fire again for us as soon as word of this train job gets around.
Say goodbye.
Got any idea where you're going?
Over the nearest state line.
That'll be Arkansas.
Yeah, I know.
Sure you don't want some company?
No, that'd be no good for you or for the other boys. You'd only get part of the heat that's on us. You'd be better off here. You might even live to be a respected citizen.
Raise your hands. don't!
Break up here.
Out of there. Is that all of them? Everybody but the Jennings boys.
Hurt bad, Al? Oh, it's my leg. I can't move it. I guess it's broken.
Take it easy. I'll get you out of here. Lucky for us, it happened over the state line.
Yeah, very lucky.
Raise your hands, Frank.
You're a little out of your territory, aren't you, Marshal? You can't arrest us in Arkansas.
Did any of you boys see a sign that said Arkansas?
No, what sign? He must be out of his head.
This looks like Oklahoma territory to me.
Your mistake, boys. I'm taking you in.
The evidence which the prosecution has presented does not warrant a death penalty. Let me impress upon you, gentlemen of the jury, that the death penalty is not to be considered lightly. The prosecution has made much of the fact that the defendant, Al Jennings, once killed a man. That is true. He did kill a man, but it was in self-defense. That man was the murderer of Ed Jennings, Al's brother, and my son. It is a matter of record that Al Jennings killed no one else. The prosecution has been unable to bring forward a single witness to testify that Al or his brother Frank ever inflicted physical harm on a single person at any time during their escapades in the territory. I ask you to bear that fact prominently in mind when you are deliberating the fate of the two defendants. Now, Let us consider the manner in which the defendants were taken into custody. Technically, these two men should not be in this court facing any charge. It has been clearly established that Marshal Slattery had no jurisdiction in Arkansas where they were apprehended. The boundary of that state was completely ignored by the officers in their zeal to make an arrest. So I repeat that neither of these defendants should be on trial here for any crime, and that certainly Al Jennings should not be held to answer for murder. I thank you, gentlemen.
You have heard the testimony in this case. You will weigh it carefully and return with one of two verdicts, guilty or not guilty. You may retire.
Stand this much longer.
There's an old saying about juries. The longer they're out, the better your chances.
Al, if you do go free, do you think we can ever...
Yes, Margot. I'll figure out something.
Take this note to the judge.
All right.
It'll be over soon now. They're asking for instructions.
Deadlocked. 10-2 for acquittal. It'll give the territory a bad name if they turn those Jennings brothers loose. Tell you what you do, Tim. Go in there and tell them that if they'll bring in a verdict of guilty of manslaughter, I'll pronounce the minimum sentence.
But the charge isn't manslaughter.
Don't be technical. Do as I tell you. Gentlemen of the jury, have you reached a verdict?
We have, Your Honor. We find Al Jennings guilty of manslaughter and his brother Frank guilty as an accessory.
Frank Jennings, stand and face the court. I sentence you to 5 years in Leavenworth Federal Prison. Stand aside. Al Jennings, stand and face the court. You are the major offender. You have terrorized these parts for years. It is most unfortunate you were not tried for all the crimes you have committed. The least I can do, therefore, is to see that you don't commit any more. I sentence you to life imprisonment in the Federal Division of the Ohio Penitentiary.
But, Your Honor, you sent word to us that...
Your Honor, I move for a new trial.
The sentence stands. Court's adjourned.
The career of Al Jennings as an outlaw, but not as a man. 5 years after he was sentenced to life imprisonment, the irregularities of his trial were brought to the attention of President Theodore Roosevelt. Al was pardoned and his citizenship restored. He returned to Oklahoma Territory, where he resumed his career as a lawyer and was one of the men instrumental in obtaining statehood for the sooner Commonwealth.